Hello everyone, my name is Capp and welcome back to the channel, another 7 Days to Die video. Now I'm doing all this in Alpha 17.3, this is a stable build on PC. Now if you're not one of the people that like watching videos done in creative mode, you might want to avert your eyes because I'm going to be using a lot of debug tools and creative mode because we're doing another Mythbuster style testing video. Been a little while since we've done these, love doing testing videos, that's pretty much what my channel's been known for the longest time now. So as always, if you have other things you want to test, leave those in the comment section down below. But what we're going to be testing this one is, there's a myth going around basically that when the blood moon starts, that it despawns the sleepers that you have in all these houses. Now, I have debug mode on right now, so you can see, and I have all the zombies turned off, so everybody can just kind of calm down, whatever. But so you can fly around and see all these zombies. They're all up here just waiting to be woken up here. If I didn't have them turned off, they would be coming straight after me. So I got a ton of zombies in this house, got a few zombies showing up over in this house, and I think the further you go down, more zombies will spawn in, of course. You can see other names popping up here, which for people asking, when you have debug mode on, if you hit the 0 button on your number pad on your keypad, it'll turn all of the zombies on, their names on and off and stuff. So, and now, I'm not quite sure. Now, I'm not 100% certain on the mechanics of how long sleepers will stay spawned in. If they only appear when you're near the house, or if they, will pop in and out. Regardless, but we're just checking on these 3 houses to see if it keeps spawning them into the same places. So, we'll check on this one right there. We're going to fly over here, go back in this house, see if everybody's still in the same spot, because it looks like it, and then go check back over here. And it looks like everybody's in the same spot. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave everybody turned off so nobody starts wandering around. And I'm going to stay right here in front of this house so that I'm right in the middle of the chunk. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the Blood Moon Horde to show up here. Now you're going to get to see me do this here, but I'm going to go ahead and jack the time all the way up to right before it actually starts here. So go ahead and let all the color change. Turn my mining helmet on. And the sky will be turning red here in just a second, and we'll see if when the horde actually spawns in, and we'll check to see where it spawns into, if it gets rid of all the sleepers we have in these houses or not. Because that is the myth, and that the game can't have too many zombies in at one time, and so when it decides to try and spawn the horde in, it gets rid of all the sleepers. So right at the moment you can see it's still spawning some in here, so it didn't get rid of the sleepers at all, but it's spawning more in around me because it bases the spawn of the Blood Moon Horde close to where you are as a player. Didn't put too many of them behind me. There's probably a few more out there a little bit further, but you can see there's a decent chunk of them it put around this house, all outside of it here. And all the sleepers, let's go check and see, are they still in the same spot they were? Let's go check and see this house over here. And I do know it's dark. I'll make sure to adjust the brightness and stuff. Okay, so it looks like all these people are right where they were when I left them here. So all the sleepers are still there, and all the zombies from the Blood Moon Horde are still there. Now, so the other part of this test is once the horde is here, do the sleepers still spawn in? So let's go over to this side. This is a house we've never been in before. And let's see if it goes ahead and put some more people. I'm definitely getting some frame droppage here, and that's fine because there's a ton of zombies here. You can see on the map, I've only just barely been here, but there's sections of the map I've never been to yet. So we'll go over to this house, and you can see all of those zombies are spawning in. Now, we'll go back to the original spot we started off and see, okay, all the Blood Moon Horde zombies are there. This house is still full of people. And the very first house we went to, let's see if they are up there or not. And everybody is where they left them. Okay, so now one of the things to keep in mind is I do have everything set to default except for I have horde mode every single night, every single day, so it shows up every night. And I do have it set on 64 zombies to get the most amount possible. So what we're going to do next is I'm going to reload this. I'm going to change the settings from 64 to 8 and see if we get anything different. So hang on just a second. Alright then, we have it reset now. Everything is the same as it was in the last one. We are on day 7. Character is the same. The only thing I changed was I reset the number of zombies and the size of the horde from the default, or I set it back to the default of 8 versus 64 where I had it on. So we can see house over here, we still got a bunch of sleepers laying around in different places, not really in the attic as much as they are in just different parts of the room. They're hiding around in different places. We got one right here. Sup, dude? And of course we have some more over here. Now since I closed out the game and reloaded it to get it to reset everything, it might put some of the sleepers in a different location than they originally were, which is fine. We're just testing to see if it will do anything different here. So what we're going to do is do the same thing we did on the last one. We're going to get it to a blood mood, and get ready to see if it will change anything with it by having it on the default. So when it gets ready to roll over to the Blood Moon, we'll be able to see if it despawns anything that we have here, because we got 3 houses worth of sleepers right at the moment. I don't think it's actually going to, but people want me to make sure I test it. You're a little late on the delivery, dude, but you know, better late than never, I guess. Okay, so let's see where it's going to spawn the Horde in. It's usually going to be pretty close to us. Not even seeing where it spawned the Horde. It may be a little bit further away. Oh, it's a smaller Horde. Okay, so here is right here. It's a teeny tiny little Horde showed up right behind us. But let's go back to the house here. It looks like everybody is spawned back in right where they were initially. Let's see, check this house. Everybody's still up here, okay? You still in here? Oh, so it didn't actually keep this one zombie in here. Nice. Okay, so that's kind of interesting. It's really interesting. It's hard to tell exactly how many zombies it spawned in or got rid of based on where I was actually at in movement or not, because it's still going to have all the zombies in here in different places. The ones that are already here, trying to keep track of which ones were here and were not. So that one zombie might not be in there anymore, but what about the rest of them here? Because it looks like we still got plenty of them in other rooms of this same house. They're just kind of moving around a little bit. So that one zombie may have disappeared, but that doesn't necessarily mean it despawned the rest of them here, because we still got a decent chunk of zombies in this house that were already in there. So that's at least, I would say it got rid of one zombie on that house, but for the most part, having the Horde show up does not affect any of the sleepers. Alright, the last thing we're going to test out here is bringing up a little bit of the nerd stats here, and we're going to open up the console command here so you can see everything that's listed that's going on inside the game. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to test out, I'm going to fly over to this first house, get a bunch of sleepers to show up, and you can see right up here the commands going on here. It is, you know, sleeper volume, where they're spawning, the kind of stage that they're going to be zombing in, and which zombies are spawning in. So you can see the actual commands on the screen here to show that they actually did spawn in. And we'll do it again over on this side. Open it up and you can see it's spawning in even more over here. So it spawned in 4 or 5 at a time, and the more you move around, more things are going to spawn. That's obviously the way it works. That's how it's supposed to work. So what we're going to test out is bringing up the command console when it turns into a blood moon to see if there's any kind of commands listed that would indicate that the blood moon is causing zombies to despawn. So what we need to get is get the time all the way up to right before it changes. Alright, there is the command for the Blood Moon party to spawn in. You can see it's spawning in a chunk of them. I do have them still turned off again, so they're all just going to kind of hang out where they're going. But I'm checking to see if there's anything listed here that would indicate that any other kinds of zombies are being killed, that anything's showing up at all to remove any kind of sleepers. And so far, you can see there's a decent sized horde showing up because I do have it set on 64 zombies, so it's going to keep spawning them in for a little while. But I'm trying to see if there's anything in here that shows, hey, by the way, we're going to despawn these. So let's go over and check out this house real quick, see if all the sleepers are still here. Sleeper volume still showing up all the ones that are actually there. So it looks like it kind of despawns zombies when you move away from a certain area, and then it pops them back in when you get close enough to them. So let's go down here real quick, have the chance to unload from down to this house. See if there's anything there. Nothing listed right at the moment. Okay, let's fly back down. Fly up to this first house. And it is showing this there. It's not spawning the sleepers. It's just bringing them into. It's just kind of loading them into memory because they're already technically here. And they form and they show up right when you get close enough to the house, just like any other thing that's there. You can see how it's saying it's restoring. So it unloads them from memory when you move away from them, just because you can't have an infinite number of zombies sitting in the world or it would crash your entire system. So it restores them when you move away from them. But as far as the blood moon causing them to despawn, that doesn't seem to be the case at all from my testing. It seems like what it's actually doing, and we'll bring this back down to daylight so it's not so dark. What it's doing is, if you see that they're despawning at all, it's just because you've moved away from where the house is that you are currently in, but the blood moon itself does not cause any kind of zombies to despawn. So that's what we're seeing with the list of the stats here. That's all we wanted to check out, just to make sure we had full due diligence in our testing, so people could say, well, what if there's a specific kind of command that's being called that you're not seeing or something. So I wanted to run it with the command open so everybody could see it. So for everybody who was thinking, hey, I'll just run inside a big house when the Blood Moon spawns in because it'll despawn all the sleepers, no, you're still going to have to deal with whatever is there. Even after the Blood Moon Horde is showed up, once they've spawned in, if you go over to a new house that you've never been into, once you get ready to, go inside or ever get close to it, that's when it triggers the sleeper spawns. So you can see right at the moment, there's one guy over there, but there's nothing in this house at the moment, and then, ta-da, here they all show up. Because that's how the game actually functions. They spawn in when you get close to it. Anyway, there we have it. If you were curious as whether or not you'd be able to hide inside a house from a Blood Moon Horde, wait for them to spawn in, and then hope all the sleepers disappear, no. They are still in the house and still waiting for you. They would just be running as fast as the Horde is now, and you'll still have to deal with them. So there you go. Hopefully that was at least enlightening to some people. I know I had a few people ask me questions about whether or not it does despawn the zombies or not, so hopefully this was slightly educational. If you found the video useful, do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button down below, and be sure to subscribe if you're not already so you don't miss out on future videos. In the meantime, thank you guys so much for your time. You have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you later.